Most men go through life thinking they need to impress women with money, looks, or charm. But what if I told you that the real key to attraction lies in understanding hidden psychological triggers, deep emotional weaknesses that women themselves may not even be aware of? Women, just like men, carry subconscious desires, emotional needs, and automatic responses they can't always explain or control. The real issue? Most men have no clue how to detect or use these triggers to their advantage. They chase surface-level tactics, missing the deeper psychological patterns that truly influence attraction. Today, we're diving deep into 10 hidden female weaknesses, the psychological switches that, once you understand them, will completely transform the way you interact with women. Let's get started. Point 1. The power of emotional certainty. Women are highly emotional beings, but don't confuse that with instability. Their emotions often guide their decisions, particularly in romantic relationships. One of their most significant hidden weaknesses: a profound need for emotional certainty. A woman doesn't just want thrilling chemistry or fleeting passion. She deeply craves emotional security, a sense that she won't be abandoned when life gets messy or unpredictable. It's this emotional grounding that separates fleeting flings from lasting connections. That's why women are instinctively drawn to men who remain calm under pressure. A man who maintains his emotional balance during conflict, uncertainty, or chaos becomes immensely attractive. He radiates strength, not through aggression, but through composure. On the flip side, a man who's reactive, overly emotional, or dependent on her for validation often triggers a subconscious red flag. Why? Because it signals instability. It makes her feel like she must carry the emotional weight, reversing the natural polarity. Suddenly, she's in the dominant role, emotionally babysitting a man, and that shift kills attraction almost instantly. Think of emotional certainty as a silent superpower. When she gets upset, you stay composed. When plans fall apart, you adapt without complaint. When life tests you, you respond with calm confidence. This kind of emotional resilience makes you a psychological safe haven, something women are drawn to like moths to a flame, often without even realizing why. 2. Women are drawn to what they can't have. There's a simple but powerful truth about human behavior. We desire what is scarce. It's why diamonds are priceless, why limited edition sneakers sell out in minutes, and why luxury feels so seductive. Women operate under this same emotional principle when it comes to attraction. One of their hidden psychological triggers: they're powerfully drawn to men they can't fully grasp or claim. When a man is too available, too eager, or too obvious with his feelings, his perceived value starts to drop. She might enjoy the flattery, but she won't chase it. On the contrary, men who carry a quiet sense of independence and mystery activate a primal response in women. It sparks a desire to figure them out, to earn their attention, to bridge the emotional gap. Have you ever wondered why women often become obsessed with men who are aloof or emotionally reserved? It's not rudeness, it's scarcity at work. This doesn't mean playing games or being cold. It means having a life, goals, and energy that aren't solely centered on her. It's the magnetic pull of a man who doesn't need her, but still chooses her. That's the difference. This is why women often go crazy over men who seem indifferent or hard to read. It's not because they enjoy being ignored. It's because their subconscious mind naturally assigns higher value to something uncertain, something that isn't easily figured out or captured. This isn't a game. It's a reflection of how attraction truly works at a psychological level. So, how do you use this principle to your advantage? The key lies in subtlety and self-control. Don't always be available. Let her feel a hint of anticipation. Make her wonder when she sees you again. what you're thinking, or what you're doing when you're not with her. That mystery creates a powerful emotional pull. Maintain your independence at all costs. Have a life that thrives with or without her, one that doesn't revolve around constant validation or attention from a woman. When a man lives with purpose and passion, he becomes inherently more attractive. Don't rush to show every part of who you are. Reveal yourself slowly, like pages in a compelling book. Allow her to discover you layer by layer over time, because the moment a woman feels like she's fully won you, when there's nothing left to explore, her interest can begin to fade. Why? Because certainty kills mystery. Keep a part of yourself just out of reach, and she never stop chasing that connection, that missing piece of the puzzle she can't quite grasp. 3. The unspoken influence of deep voice and presence. 1 of the most underrated psychological triggers when it comes to male attraction. A deep, controlled voice paired with a commanding presence. This combination works on a level beyond logic. It taps into something primal, something hardwired. Studies repeatedly show that men with deeper voices are seen as more dominant, confident, and attractive. This preference isn't random. It's rooted in evolutionary psychology. A deep voice subtly signals high testosterone levels, emotional stability, and leadership potential, qualities that women instinctively associate with protection and strength. But this goes far beyond voice alone. It's about your entire presence, the unspoken language your body and energy speak before you ever say a word. Presence is how you enter a room, how you stand, how you carry yourself under pressure. It's how you look people in the eye, not aggressively, but calmly, with certainty. Women are incredibly sensitive to presence. A man with true presence doesn't need to boast or posture. He moves with quiet confidence. He doesn't fidget or rush. He speaks slowly and deliberately, like every word carries weight. That kind of energy is magnetic. In contrast, a weak presence is betrayed by slouched shoulders, nervous fidgeting, darting eyes, and an unsteady voice. These small signals may seem trivial, but to a woman's subconscious, they scream insecurity. Even if a man doesn't realize he's giving off this vibe, she feels it. So if you want to captivate a woman without even trying, master your presence first. The stronger your energy, the more naturally she'll be drawn to you. You won't need to chase her. She'll feel it before you speak a single word. 4. Women can't resist a man who walks away. Want to awaken one of a woman's deepest emotional reactions? Walk away like you don't need her. This isn't about cruelty, it's about signaling strength and self-worth. One of the greatest hidden weaknesses women have is their powerful emotional response to loss. Why does this work so effectively? It's simple psychology. People place greater value on what they're afraid of losing. And while many men panic when they sense a woman pulling back, chasing, pleading, over-explaining, the confident man does the opposite. When you chase, you unconsciously communicate that you need her more than she needs you. That imbalance flips. The attraction switch off. It creates pressure, not desire. But a man who can calmly walk away, who doesn't flinch at distance, communicates something incredibly rare: emotional self-sufficiency. Without speaking, he sends the message: I am not desperate for your attention. I don't need to beg. I know my value. That kind of silent confidence is unforgettable. It's a mindset that tells her loud and clear, I am not desperate for you. I have options. My self-worth is not dependent on your validation. And that mindset ... drives women crazy. If she knows without a doubt that you're willing to leave the moment she disrespects you, plays games, or begins to pull away emotionally, she will automatically start to value you more. This isn't about manipulation or mind games. It's about one thing: self-respect. The rule is straightforward yet incredibly powerful. Be willing to walk away, and you'll never have to chase. Why? Because when you hold your ground and demonstrate that your standards won't bend for anyone, she sees you as a man with backbone. That kind of strength is rare, and it's deeply attractive. So many men cave under pressure, tolerate poor behavior, or try to win back a woman who's acting cold. But in doing so, they signal weakness. The truth is, a woman respects a man who respects himself. When she realizes you're not afraid to leave rather than be mistreated, it activates a deep psychological trigger in her mind. Suddenly, you're no longer someone she can play with, you're someone she must earn. 5. A man with a mission is her kryptonite. Believe it or not, a woman's biggest weakness isn't a man's physical appearance, his wealth, or even his charm. It's his purpose, his unshakable drive toward something greater than himself. Women are instinctively and powerfully drawn to men who are pursuing a meaningful goal. Whether it's building a business, mastering a skill, making an impact, or chasing a personal dream, a man with a mission becomes magnetic. Why? Because purpose shapes behavior. It creates focus, discipline, and independence. 3 qualities women subconsciously crave in a partner. The mistake most men make? They make her the mission. They revolve their entire life around pleasing, pursuing, and prioritizing the woman above all else. While it may seem romantic, ironically, this approach destroys attraction over time. Women don't want to be your whole world. They want to be part of something you're already building, something bigger than just a relationship. Man with purpose doesn't anxiously wait for her replies. He doesn't pause his progress just because she calls. He's moving, growing, chasing something meaningful, and that energy is intoxicating. It tells her, this man can't be owned, but he can choose me. So ask yourself, honestly, what are you building? What are you working toward? If you can't answer that clearly, women will sense it. And without that inner fire, attraction won't. Last, purpose is what sets you apart. 6. The paradox of controlled vulnerability. Vulnerability, when misunderstood, can backfire. Show too much, too fast, and a woman may perceive you as emotionally fragile. Show too little and she'll feel like you're emotionally closed off. This is where the true art lies. Controlled vulnerability. Women are not attracted to emotional chaos, but they are captivated by men who can open up, just enough men who know how to reveal their emotions in a way that shows strength, not neediness. A common mistake men make is believing that being emotionally expressive at all times is what women want. But this isn't accurate. While women do crave depth and emotional connection, they are deeply turned off by men who overshare, constantly complain, or look to them for emotional reassurance. These behaviors make her feel like she has to play the caretaker, and that quickly dissolves attraction. The secret? Show vulnerability selectively and intentionally. Acknowledge your emotions, but don't let them control your behavior. Share your struggles, but only after you've overcome them, not while you're drowning in them. Speak about your inner world, but in a way that's calm, confident, and measured. This creates a powerful emotional dynamic. She feels chosen when you open up, but never burdened. She sees your humanity, but not your instability. A man who overshares too early or constantly seeks comfort signals weakness. But a man who reveals his story on his own terms builds deep intrigue and trust. Think of your emotions like a vast ocean, deep, mysterious, and powerful. Let her see the surface. Feel the current, but never be overwhelmed by the tide. Women are weak for men who have the strength to be vulnerable, but the self-mastery to do it in a way that enhances their masculine presence. 7. Women are programmed to test your strength. Most men don't realize it, but women are constantly testing them. And no, these tests aren't random or spiteful. They're instinctive, subconscious methods women use to evaluate a man's emotional and psychological strength. You could say it's nature's way of sorting the strong from the weak. A woman might challenge your beliefs just to see if you can stand firm under pressure. She might spark minor conflicts, not because she wants to argue, but to observe if you remain composed or lose control. Sometimes she may even act distant or cold, not out of cruelty, but to see if you become insecure or needy. These tests aren't designed to frustrate. They're built-in survival mechanisms, subtle yet powerful ways to filter out the men who are emotionally shaky. And here lies the secret. Never react emotionally to a woman's test. The moment you become defensive, angry, or start pleading, you fail the test. Instead, stay calm, smile, remain completely unfazed. If she questions you, respond with unwavering confidence, not aggression. If she withdraws, don't chase. Let her feel the space. Let her come back on her own. A man who passes a woman's test doesn't just gain her respect, he becomes unforgettable. He proves that he cannot be controlled emotionally, that he stands firm in who he is, regardless of how she's acting. And here's something important to remember. Women only test men they are genuinely attracted to. So if she's testing you, it's actually a good sign. Just make sure you don't fail. Point 8. Confidence in the face of rejection is irresistible rejection. The word alone terrifies most men. But here's the twist. The few who embrace rejection with confidence become magnetic. Women are surprisingly drawn to men who can handle rejection without flinching. Why? Because it signals a rare, powerful level of self-worth. Imagine this. A man gets turned down and, instead of shrinking or becoming bitter, he smiles, shrugs, and says, "No worries, your loss. Have a great day." Then he walks away with confidence, maybe even laughing to himself. That kind of reaction is golden. It tells her, and everyone else watching, that this man isn't defined by anyone's approval. He knows his value, and that kind of quiet certainty is intoxicating. Desperate men fear rejection because they believe it's proof that they're not enough. Confident men see rejection as nothing more than a moment, a blip that doesn't dent their self-esteem, and that's what makes them stand out. The key? Never let rejection lower your energy. Don't plead, don't over-explain, and never apologize for being interested. Own your space. When you take rejection with calm detachment, women will sense your emotional strength. Ironically, many will come chasing simply because you didn't. Because rejection only hurts when your self-worth is tied to external validation. When you stop fearing rejection, something shifts. You start becoming the one who gets chosen. 9. Women obsess over men who are hard to read. If a woman knows exactly how you feel all the time, if there's no mystery, no surprise, no uncertainty, then something dangerous happens. She stops wondering. And once she stops wondering, she stops chasing. Her mind is no longer engaged. Women are psychologically drawn to mystery, to intrigue, to the subtle tension of not fully knowing what's next. This isn't about playing manipulative games. It's about keeping things unpredictable in a natural, confident way. It's about not putting every card on the table right away. What does a man who's too easy to read look like? He responds to every message instantly. He pours out his emotions early and often. He constantly seeks her approval or reassurance. These things, while seemingly sweet or honest, actually tell her there's no emotional depth left to explore. By contrast, a man of high value creates tension, not by being distant, but by being measured. He shares parts of himself gradually, intentionally. He responds in his own time, not instantly, not with urgency. He doesn't reveal everything, and that leaves space for curiosity. Space for desire. Remember, curiosity fuels attraction. It keeps her mentally engaged. If she always knows what you'll say or how you'll react, the excitement fades. But if she has to wonder where she stands, if she's intrigued by what's going on in your mind, then she stays emotionally invested. The man who can subtly excite. A woman's imagination, the one who can make her wonder, what is he thinking? What's he feeling? That man becomes the one she can't think. Thinking about point one. A man who controls his desires, controls everything. There's a truth few men fully grasp, and it's one that drives women wild. The ultimate weakness women have is their inability to resist a man who is completely in control of himself. Not just his words or his actions, but his urges, his emotions, his impulses. The reality? Most men are slaves to their desires. They're reactive. They chase women without restraint. They crave attention, and they allow lust to dictate their choices. This neediness makes them predictable, easy to manipulate, and ultimately unappealing. But the rare man, the one who holds true power, is different. He doesn't chase women blindly. He isn't led by momentary pleasures. He is deliberate, grounded, and fully in control of his own appetites. And that discipline? It's magnetic. Women are weak for men who don't act out of desperation. They're drawn to men who choose wisely, maintain boundaries, and uphold high standards in all areas of life. A man who's selective with his attention, who says no when something doesn't align with his values, becomes someone women deeply respect and desire. Why is that? Because he signals that his life has purpose. He isn't just drifting. He doesn't see women as a goal. He sees them as a complement to the mission he's already pursuing. Think about it. When a man can walk away, when he can delay gratification, when he puts his vision ahead of momentary satisfaction, he becomes rare, uncheckable. And that kind of man? He's not just wanted. He's craved. The moment you stop chasing women is the moment they start chasing you. This isn't a tactic. It's not about games or manipulation. It's about shifting your mindset from being externally controlled to being internally mastered. Attraction, in its purest form, doesn't stem from tricks or pickup lines. It comes from one place: deep self-respect and inner strength. A man who leads himself, who lives with purpose, who honors his discipline, he automatically radiates value. So remember, a man who resists the pull of instant pleasure, who can say no to what doesn't serve him, is the man women find themselves thinking about, even when they don't want to, because women are instinctively drawn to men who embody strength, purpose, and self-mastery. If you cultivate these qualities, women won't just want you, they'll feel they need you. If you found value in this, subscribe to Stillness of the Stoic for more wisdom on mastering life and attraction. Until next time, stay strong, stay grounded, and never chase.